Hello everyone, welcome to Tutorium Online, Kerala's number one institute for commerce and humanities. My name is GopiKrishna A. I'm an English faculty at Tutorium Online. Um, I've been working as a postgraduate teacher in English for more than 5 years. Before that, I completed my post graduation from the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. So today we'll be discussing a very important topic from an exam point of view. We'll be discussing today, how to approach how to approach English comprehension or reading comprehension passages in English. With a special focus on CLAT students. Okay, but English comprehension or reading comprehension is something that is of great importance, not just for CLAT students, but for all competitive exams, CLAT, CUET, and so on. It is its importance can never be overstated. വളരെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഒരു ടോപ്പിക്കാണ്. So uh, Today I'll be sharing with you uh, how to approach reading comprehension. So, a reading comprehension passage when you get a comprehension passage for your exam. What is our primary objective? നമ്മളുടെ ആ ഒരു പരമമായ ലക്ഷ്യം എന്നൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ പറയില്ലേ. So what is our primary objective? Our primary objective is to find the answers to the questions that are given there. So that's the be all and end all. Okay. So we're not writing an essay on that topic, or we do not want to know everything about that particular topic or issue. Okay, our primary objective is to find the answers to the question, and that is it. So for that, we need to employ certain strategies, certain reading strategies, certain problem-solving strategies to tackle with comprehension passages. And if you do that, it can help you fetch those marks, easily, because it's once if you've practiced it enough, reading comprehension passages, they're not a it's not a tough nut to crack. Reading comprehension passages, it's not a tough nut to crack at all. In fact, if you practice it thoroughly, then it can be like a walk in the park. Okay, so now I'll be discussing how to approach reading English comprehension in CLAT. All right, yes. So why reading comprehension matters? So it tests your ability to understand and interpret information. It measures our speed, accuracy, and inferential skills. It's common in all UG competitive exams, as I said, like CUT, CLAT, and so on. So there are some skills that you need to develop to really master it, which are skimming and scanning. You have to be able to infer information. You have to be able, you should be able to interpret things. You should be able to identify the meaning of certain words in that particular context. You should be good. You should be critical thinkers. Obviously, it's a given. And also, you don't have all the time in the world. We have to finish each and every passage within a specific time. Only then you'll be able to complete the whole test. These are the skills that you need to develop for it. There's a four anchor approach to mastering reading comprehension. So you must have seen, നിങ്ങൾ രാവിലെ നിങ്ങളുടെ പാരൻസ് ബിഫോർ ദേ ഗോ ടു വർക്ക്, റൈറ്റ്, അവര് പെട്ടെന്ന് ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പർ വായിക്കും നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടായിരിക്കും. So they cannot possibly read. No working person can possibly read each and every word of the newspaper, right? They'll read what they think is important. They'll read the news that they find useful and important, right? So and even in that, they don't read the whole report. They might read what they think. They might try and extract the most useful information. Similarly, such kind of reading is what you call skimming to find out the most the main points of something. That is what you mean by skimming. So when you first get a passage, you have to employ that reading technique called skimming. So നമ്മൾ പെട്ടെന്ന് ഒന്ന് സ്കിം ചെയ്ത് വായിച്ചു എന്താണ്, എന്തിനെ പറ്റിയാണിത് എന്നുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് സ്കിം ചെയ്ത് നമ്മൾ നോക്കണം. പിന്നെ അതിൻ്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ, ഫസ്റ്റ് സെന്റൻസ് എന്താണ് പറയുന്നത്, ലാസ്റ്റ് സെന്റൻസ് എന്താണ് പറയുന്നത്, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ഓവറോൾ ഐഡിയ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന രീതിയിൽ we have to skim through the passage. Okay, that is very important. And while we are skimming it, you have to focus on keywords. The this is something for transition words like however, therefore, in contrast. ഇതൊക്കെ പറയുന്നത് നമുക്കൊരു ക്ലൂ ആണ്, ഒരു ക്യൂ ആണ്. Because when you see such words, you have to understand that the information that comes after that, the information that follow these words, that could be really useful. അത് വളരെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ആയിരിക്കാം, അത് വളരെ യൂസ്ഫുൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് സംതിങ് റിയലി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. സോ യു ഹാവ് ടു read that carefully. Then while you are approaching answers, while you are looking at the answer, looking at the questions, sometimes you are unable to find the right answer. But if you are unable to pinpoint, you cannot zero in on the right answer. In such cases, you can employ this technique called POE, process of elimination, right? So you don't know the right answer, but when you eliminate all the incorrect answers, what remains at the end will be the right answer. So that is a technique that you can employ. Okay, you can eliminate all the possible all the incorrect answers, and the one answer which remains will be the right answer. And so when I said you have to skim passages, for reading comprehension. So that is what you have to do first. You have to skim through the passage, then you have to look at the questions. Then to find the answers to the questions, you have to go back. You have to return and locate. So what is the purpose of that skimming? To know where the answer, where you can find the answer to the question that you read. So when you read the question, you have to go back to exactly where that question, the answer to that, or the information that is required to answer to that question, where exactly in the passage it lies. You can go back, locate it, and then you have to read with intent. Then you have to read with the intent of answering that question. This is how you need to approach reading comprehension. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അതിനെ ഇത് ചുമ്മാ വായിച്ചു പോവാതെ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചുമ്മാ കുറെ രണ്ട് മൂന്ന് പ്രാവശ്യം പാസേജ് വായിച്ച് സമയം കളാതെ നമ്മൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് സ്കിം ചെയ്യുക, എന്താണ് എവിടെയാണ് എന്നൊക്കെ മനസ്സിലാക്കുക, പിന്നെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് വായിക്കുക, പിന്നെ ലൊക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ആ ആൻസർ, ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആൻസർ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രം നമ്മൾ ഇന്റന്റോടെ വായിക്കുക. അതല്ലാതെ ആ പാസേജ് മൊത്തം നമ്മൾ മൂന്നും നാലും പ്രാവശ്യം വായിച്ച് we don't have time to waste. All right, so things to remember. uh, some people even say use the strategy of reading the questions first. That is again, if it can be an effective strategy, but I wouldn't say everyone should do that. Maybe you have to first go through the passage to get at least a brief idea about what the passage is. Then you can come to questions. That is what I would suggest. And as you are reading, when you're maybe when you're skimming, just maybe underline or note key phrases. So as I said, words like however, therefore, in contrast to, on the contrary, furthermore, such words could be, you can the information or the sentences that follow such words could be really important. uh, then of course, like in every passage, there are sentences in your for your reading comprehension passage which might not be that relevant, which might not be very important, which are distractors. നമ്മൾ ചില മൂവീസിലൊക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ, എന്താണ് ഒരു ഒരു മെയിൻ നമ്മളെ ഡിസ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി ഒരു വേറൊരു വില്ലനൂടെ ഉണ്ടാവും. ലൈക്ക് ഒരു മെയിൻ വില്ലൻ വേറൊരാളായിരിക്കും, പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ ഇയാളാണെന്ന് തെറ്റിദ്ധരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഒരു ഡീകോയ് എന്നൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്ന പോലെ ഒരു ഒരു വേറെ നമ്മളപ്പോ ഇയാളെ സംശയിക്കും. അപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ മെയിൻ വില്ലൻ നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് മെയിൻ മറ്റേ ഒരു മർഡർ മിസ്റ്ററിയിലൊക്കെ, ഹൂ ഡൺ ഇറ്റിലൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ഇയാളാണെന്ന് വേറൊരാളെ സംശയിക്കാൻ പാകത്തിനുള്ള സീൻസും സിറ്റുവേഷൻസും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവും. പക്ഷെ അയാളായിരിക്കുകയല്ല കില്ലർ. എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പോലെ ഈ there could be paragraphs in a passage which are totally irrelevant to the questions that are asked. So don't get trapped by it. Then not all questions, നിങ്ങൾ reading comprehension, I'm sure you've had to solve reading comprehension passages in your school. You've been doing that from a very young age, maybe from 6th standard, 7th standard onwards. You've been doing that, but the passages that you're going to get for competitive exams, are going to be are going to be very different. Okay, it is nowhere close to or nowhere similar to such passages. So you can't expect to the answer is clearly given on the first paragraph. So like New Delhi is the capital of India. So you can't expect, like, if your first sentence is New Delhi is the capital of India, you can't expect a question, what is the which is the capital of India. So that is too direct. You can't expect such questions. You have to expect questions where you have to make inferences. You have to read between the lines. You have to make inferences. The information might not be clearly given to you. You have to extract that information, but through your analysis. So അങ്ങനത്തെ questions വരാം. You'll be asked questions where you have to apply what you have learned in the passage or what you have read in the passage in a different context. അങ്ങനത്തെ questions വരാം. Vocabulary in context വരാം. Tone of the writer ചോദിക്കാം. പിന്നെ എന്താണ് നമ്മൾ ഒരു അനലിറ്റിക്കൽ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാം. അങ്ങനെ പലതരത്തിലുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാം. സോ ദ കോമൺ പിറ്റ്ഫോൾസ് നമ്മൾ സാധാരണ ഒരു റീഡിംഗ് കോംപ്രഹെൻഷൻ പാസേജിൽ ആളുകൾ വരുന്ന മിസ്റ്റേക്സ് ആണ് getting lost in unfamiliar vocabulary. Nobody knows every word in the English language. Okay, so that is impossible, right? Unless you're Shashi Tharoor. Even, but I'm sure even there are words here, even he doesn't know. But so don't get lost in unfamiliar vocabulary. So you don't try and find the meaning of the word from in isolation. So when you read a sentence, you have to sort of make a calculated guess as to what that word means. You have to guess from the context what it means, and more often than not, you will get it right. Okay, and do not over trust your memory. Always go back and find evidence. Okay, do not count on your memory when it comes to reading comprehension passage, because that is not required. The passage is right there. So you've skimmed through the passage, so you think that is the right answer. Don't trust that. Okay, always go back to the passage. Make sure that you've got the answer, because you don't have to by heart it. Then spending too much time on one question, again, that is also waste of time. Don't dwell on a question. Make a calculated guess, make an educated guess. Use the technique of use the process of elimination technique to arrive at the right answer. Do not spend a lot of time on one question. Right. So I think there is there's nothing that I in this topic that I have to that I can instruct you with. Right. There is nothing to teach here. So we'll look at a sample passage and we'll look at the different kinds of questions that are asked. Okay, that is the one thing. So this is not a typical CLAT passage. This is a general sort of passage. It's quite a straightforward one. Okay, it's not a typical for CLAT exams. You have to expect slightly more tricky passages, but I've taken this. I've chosen this passage to drive home our point. Okay, so. It's a passage about digital dilemma. Okay, so let's just go through the passage. So as you can see, it is divided into three paragraphs. So you can expect longer passages for your exam. But anyway, this is this passage is divided into three paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, it talks about how we are living in an era where screens have dominated both our professional and personal lives, and uh, and its impact on our cognition, on the way our brain function, on the way we think, is more heated than ever. So there are people who support digital devices from smartphones to tablet. They say that it has revolutionized communication, it has enhanced our access to information, it has created opportunities, it has created work, it has created different sources of generating revenue. And they also talk about multitasking. It is now considered a skill more than a liability. Back in the day, if they were dabbling in more than one task at a time, it was considered something. It was not considered a skill. It was considered that someone is it was sort of people would make fun of such a person or criticize such a person, because they would say that he's someone who's not focused. But nowadays, multitasking is considered a skill. Then the second paragraph talks more about the negative aspects of it. The first paragraph, was most slightly balanced. Second paragraph talks about the impact, that critics warn of it, the neurological consequences, its effects on screen time, memory retention, addiction, and how it leads to shallow processing of information. And last paragraph talks mainly about digital mindfulness, how we can strike a balance, how we can strike a balance. That is what it is talking about. Now, that's the passage. So I'm sure all of you have just gone through it. Now we'll have a few we'll have a set of questions based on it. So I'll introduce the different kinds of questions that can be asked for comprehension, for reading comprehension. So the first one is a literal or factual question. So according to the passage, what is the benefit of digital devices mentioned by proponents? Okay, so if you just look at the questions, look at the question, you can just go, you know that the first passage is where advantages of digital devices were mentioned. So you can quickly go to that passage. You can, yeah, enhance access to so which, and you have to look at that particular sentence, and you get enhance access to information. So that is an advantage, right? So what is the benefit? All the others are, or you employ the technique of process of elimination. Improved handwriting, is irrelevant. Longer attention span is incorrect, because we said it affects our attention span. Decreased social interaction is also cannot be an advantage. So access to vast information is the only advantage there, the only benefit there. Even if you just go back to passage one, you will get that answer. Then inferential questions. Inferential questions is, the information that you require might not be clearly given there, but it is something that you need to infer. What do you mean by to make an inference? To draw a conclusion. നമ്മളൊരു ഒരു കാര്യത്തിന് ഇപ്പോ A+B=4 എന്നാണെങ്കിൽ A 2 ആണെന്ന് നമുക്കറിയാം. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ബി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 4 - A ചെയ്താൽ ബി കിട്ടും എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മൾ നമ്മൾ അതിൽ നിന്ന് ഇൻഫർ ചെയ്ത ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ആണ്, അല്ലെ? അതൊരു വളരെ സിമ്പിൾ പ്ലെയിൻ ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ ആണ്. പക്ഷെ വാട്ട് ഐ എം ടെല്ലിങ് യു, അതുപോലത്തെ നമ്മൾ കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ ഇൻഫർ ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും. നമ്മൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് ഒരു കാര്യം ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു, വേറൊരു കാര്യം ഇതിന്റെ സംഭവമാണ്. അപ്പൊ അത് അതിന്റെ കോൺസിക്വൻസ് ആണെന്നോ കോസ് ആണെന്നോ നമ്മൾ ഇൻഫർ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് നമ്മളുടെ റെസ്പോൺസിബിലിറ്റി ആണ്. So similarly, so ഇവിടെ നമുക്കൊരു ഇൻഫറൻഷ്യൽ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. Why are educators concerned about how students read digital text? So um, so here it is not clearly given. I mean, it is mentioned there, but it is not just blatantly given the answer. I mean, not very obviously given the answer. So why are educators concerned about how educators students read text? So here, once again, students cannot access. That is irrelevant. Students may develop better handwriting skills. Again, that is a distractor. So that can be only two possible answers. Students tend to read faster than necessary. Students engage in shallow reading. So the first one cannot be a concern, right? So you can go back to the passage, and it says here about shallow reading, and so students engage in shallow reading. That is an inference that you have to make. Then vocabulary in context. That is the another kind of question that can be asked. What does the term detrimental most likely mean as used in the last paragraph? So as you said, you have to look back. You have to go back to the paragraph. So last paragraph, it says, according to them, technology is not inherently detrimental. Rather, its unregulated use is the issue. So from that context, we can sort of figure out that detrimental is not a positive word. ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് വേർഡ് എല്ലാം നമുക്ക് അതിൽ നിന്ന് മനസ്സിലാവും. അപ്പൊ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ എന്നുള്ള വേർഡ് റൈറ്റ് അവേ വി കൻ ജസ്റ്റ് എലിമിനേറ്റ്. അപ്പൊ ദാറ്റ് വേറെ മൂന്ന് ഓപ്ഷൻസ് വരും: ടെമ്പററി, ഡാമേജിങ്, കൺഫ്യൂസിങ്. സോ ടെമ്പററി എന്ന് പറയുന്നതും ആ സെന്റൻസിൽ നമ്മൾ നമുക്ക് നോക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും വി കൻ സോർട്ട് ഓഫ് decipher that it can't be relevant to that particular context. So the only possible answers are damaging and confusing. So when you read, you have to, so then you have to read it. Technology is not inherently confusing. Technology is not inherently damaging. Damaging seems the more likely answer, so you go with damaging, right? So this is another way you can. This is how you have to. If you don't know the meaning of the word, If you know the meaning of the word, it's it becomes easier. But if you don't know the meaning of the word, you have to identify the meaning from the context it is given. um, then analytical. So what is the main idea of the passage? So that is, again, it is not clearly given what is the main idea. From what you've read, you have to make an analysis, you have to arrive at a conclusion. So what is the main idea of the passage? So you go through all the options that are given. uh, Multitasking has no value in modern society. That, the passage does not say that. Digital devices have completely ruined education. No. It talked about the positives of digital device as well. All screen usage is harmful and should be stopped. No, it does not suggest that. So the only possible answer is, while digital device offer benefits, unregulated use can impact cognition. That is essentially what the passage. So it's a balanced passage. It is talking both about both the positives as well as negatives. So it's a balanced, neutral passage. So C is the right answer. Tone based. What is the tone of the author in the passage? Again, you go through the questions: sarcastic, balanced, and reflective, aggressively critical, lighthearted, humorous. So we, like the previous example, there is sarcastic and lighthearted. Sarcastic A and D, you can eliminate it right away because there is no humor, there is no levity in the passage. So that can be taken out of the picture. Balanced and reflective, aggressively critical. So this passage is not aggressively critical, right? It's balanced and reflective because it talks both about the positives and negatives. Now, which of the following best demonstrates digital mindfulness as mentioned in the passage? So, this is an application-based question. So, you learned what digital mindfulness, or you understood what digital mindfulness is from the passage. Now, you have to apply it in a different context. So, which one of these can be considered as positive, or can be seen as a step towards digital mindfulness? So watching a movie while texting friends is not digital mindfulness. It is just doing multiple things at the same time. Uh, but reading multiple headlines rapidly to save time, again, that we cannot say that is digital mindfulness. That is not how you draw a line, or how you use the technology, or how you use devices in the right manner. Keeping phone notifications off during study time. That is an example of digital. Joining all possible social media platforms is something that you can eliminate right away. So of A, from A, B, and C, C is is the best answer that's available. So this is how you need to approach reading comprehension passages. There could be different kinds of questions. And final tips is you have to practice. There are a lot of passages available. And the best way to improve your comprehension skill, reading comprehension skills, the best and the possibly the only way is to read. Read as much as you can. So that is how you can improve your comprehension skills. And read newspaper, read especially the center spread articles, the editorials, and not just read. You have to reflect on what you have read, and do not blindly believe everything that is said. You have to be critical. You can question the intention of the writer. You can question his motives. You can question where he's coming. I mean, in the sense, you don't have, when you read a passage, that you should not um, sort of you have to be critical as well. And read newspapers, read editorials, then focus on understood. There's no need of any rote learning here. You don't have to memorize anything. Just it's putting your skill into, you have to, it's like practicing a skill when you practice reading comprehension, practice comprehension passages. Yeah, so read, as I said. And not just read, but also reflect. And especially, I mean, you are now in the habit of reading you some of you might be reading a fiction a lot. But I would also, I would advise you to read non-fiction. And especially newspaper reading. If you read newspaper, because reading comprehension, you cannot possibly sort of prepare yourselves. uh, you cannot prepare for the topic, right? That's impossible for us to do, because they can ask questions based on any topic. For CLAT, it could be, the passages might be related to law. But even then, you won't know, where it can be from anywhere. So we cannot possibly prepare ourselves for the topics. What we can do is we can keep our comprehension skills, solid and sharp. For that, once again, I'm telling you, read and read newspapers, read books, and do not just read fiction. Read opinionated, or read op-eds and articles, and that will help you, or that will help you. That will give you a leg up when you're preparing for competitive exams, and when you're preparing for when you want to prepare yourselves for comprehension passages. Yes. That is it. I hope my session was helpful to all of you. So right. I guess that's it from me. Thank you very much, and um, see you again. Thank you.